Ken Block is here in the house at Irwindale Event Centre. He's been out there testing. He's trying to keep cool as he gets out of that Ford Fiesta. But Tanner Faust has got his eyes on a gold medal. He hasn't won a gold at X Games since 2010. So there's going to be some competition. We're going to have 8 cars battling for the gold around this course.
It's a pair of mirrored courses. It's best out of 3 rounds, and the guys will see both. That's a long sweeper into a hairpin turn. This little kink here and into the figure 8s. If they hit anything on the course, it's a 2-second penalty, so they have to be tidy. This is the great box, very tight in there, and another sweeper into the 180 box. And twice around this 720 barrel. This is a race against the clock, so we're watching to see who comes across the finish line first.
It's going to be very interesting. We've got beautiful conditions here at Irwindale this evening. This afternoon, these guys were out there practicing, and in fact it was Tanner Faust who qualified first. He had the best time once around the red course, once around the white course. He seems to have got his eye in absolutely spot on with his Ford Fiesta. But Gymkhana isn't a word you hear very often, but there are 250 million people out there who know exactly what it means and love what it represents. Here to enlighten the rest of us is the driver who helped bring Gymkhana here to X Games.
Hi, this is Ken Block. I'm here to tell you the backstory about Gymkhana and Gymkhana GRID. The word Gymkhana actually comes from some sort of horse competition. And someone years ago took it to mean a style of grassroots motorsport. Gymkhana is a timed precision motorsport where the drivers race through a specifically designed course, all while demonstrating car control, speed, and course memorization. Gymkhana course maneuvers may include the handbrake turn, 180s, 360-degree donuts, long drifts, and other advanced driving techniques. In 2007, I went and did my first Gymkhana event, and I enjoyed it so much, actually, that I started to build a very specific race car to go out and do more. So I basically took that car and we filmed 2 days of testing and practicing and just having fun with it. Thus, the actual video series was born. I just had no idea that it would get something like 10 million views in the first couple months. So I really love the video aspect of Gymkhana. It's really like Gymkhana on steroids. But at the end of the day, I always loved the competition side of it and wanted to work to bring that back. And in 2010, we had the opportunity to do that with some business friends of mine to do an event called Gymkhana GRID. The idea of doing Gymkhana GRID was to take Gymkhana from more of a grassroots motorsport and really elevate it to something that could be in, you know, a small stadium with 2 head-to-head courses with top-level drivers. The event actually went off exceptionally well. I really enjoyed it, and that also sparked being able to do more events in Europe with Monster, and to have it in the X Games is actually incredibly amazing. GRID at X Games will be the best Gymkhana event ever produced.
And we are looking forward to the best ever Gymkhana GRID here at Irwindale this evening. Ken Block telling us all about how we got here, and Alyssa is down there with the man himself.
I am. Thanks, Toby. Ken, certainly there's been so much anticipation. What do you think about your creation finally here on race night?
It's been a lot of fun. It's great to partner with X Games on this. It's really like a dream come true. So really cool to be out here racing tonight, and we got a great field here to race against. And I mean, they're beating me. I'm qualified 5th overall. I'm struggling a bit with car setup, but it is what it is. I'm stoked to be racing.
Yeah, I think coming into this, everyone thought, of course, this is Ken's race to lose. You're the favorite. But what do you think about the competition out here, how well these guys are doing?
It's great. I mean, the thing is, I haven't actually raced Gymkhana in almost 3 years. So, you know, car setup and all that stuff is something that we just haven't worked on. So now I know that I have a bit of work to do.
What is the biggest difference between the driving you'll be seeing tonight and what we'll see in global rallycross tomorrow?
Well, really, this type of course is built to slide around on, and the tires that we have are like a drift type tire. They're very hard. They're meant to not get grip, whereas with rallycross, it's all about grip and all about the quickest time to get around a very technical course. But you know, it's all about precision driving here and actually car control, whereas with rallycross, same type of thing, but you just have a lot more grip in your door-to-door.
On Global Rallycross, we're so used to seeing you guys racing, you know, neck and neck. What is it like on these mirrored courses? Do you have any awareness of the other guy on the other course?
Unfortunately, you don't. You really just got to go out and do your best job. And my spotter will tell me if certain things happen or if my opponent hits a barrel or something like that, so I know I have a little bit of advantage. But other than that, it's really difficult. We're all so tight. I just got to go out and drive the absolute best I can and hope that I go across that finish line first.
Well, good luck. Thanks so much.
Perfect racing conditions that we've got here this evening for the first ever Gymkhana GRID X Games Los Angeles 2013. Now this is what we're going to see here this evening. Tanner Faust is going to go head to head with Brian Deegan. Then we're going to see Liam Doran head to head with Ken Block himself. Then Anton Markland and David Higgins, Patrick Sandell and Verdier as well. They're going to finish off. We've got 8 cars here this evening, Jen. We've got the red course there and the white course. And it was boiling hot this afternoon when they were practicing. And in fact, it was a little bit too hot for some people.
Once they got into time sessions here, we saw these guys struggle a little bit. They were perfect in practice, and then look what happened when we put the clock against them. That was Liam tapping the edge of the 540 container. Tough elements when you got the pressure on. We're going to see a little bit of that today. That cost him a 2-second penalty and a trip to the pits for some work on his car.
And then at the end of the race between Sandell and Verdier, they tried to avoid the wall, but they came to blows just as Verdier was trying to stop the Subaru, and he jumped out of that car pretty quick. He was revving. He spent his own money, Jen. He spent time and weekends preparing that car, and he thought he was out.
Those guys were neck and neck all day today, and they came through the finish line at exactly the same time, had a little bit of a course issue, and they didn't have enough room to shut her down.
They managed to repair the Sandell car, and Deegan had trouble slowing down as well. He hit the wall of the outside of the Irwindale Speedway. He was absolutely fuming. They've got it fixed, though.
They have it fixed. He feels things pretty hard. Today was his first chance in the car. He was out at Loretta Lynn's yesterday watching his son race, and he picked it up really fast.
So that was the drama that we had in practice. That's a view of the course from camera high up above turn 1, the drifting area. As Stefan Verdier is he's happy now after that coming together with the Swede Patrick Sandell. There you have Liam Doran. He's in his car trying to keep cool as he prepares to attack Gymkhana GRID. The weather here at X Games Los Angeles, getting ready for this Gymkhana GRID, is absolutely perfect. It was so hot out there this afternoon, you could barely stand on the asphalt as these 2 cars are going to go head to head. Now what we're going to have is 3 races per match. The first driver to win 2 of those 3 races progresses forwards. So we've got 8 cars, so we have got the quarterfinals coming up. And here we have Tanner Faust against Brian Deegan, the 2 Americans, the 2 Ford Fiestas. This is very, very level.
7 seconds separating them in seating, but Brian Deegan only just had a chance to look at the course for the first time today. He picked it up fast. We'll see how competitive he is here.
Okay, so we've lined them up. It's just like a drag starts, and they are in position. They're under starters' orders, and when the Christmas tree goes green, we're racing. Brilliant reaction on the red course from Tanner Faust. Now he's got to slide through turn 1 over that orange marker, otherwise he will get a penalty. Into the hairpin for the first time comes Brian Deegan on the white course, and now he's going to go into the figure of 8 for the first time.
He has an interesting technique. He kind of straight lines it and then slides it around right at the end of the figure 8 there. You can see the 2 of them matched, and he does it pretty fast. It's an element he's good at, although it looks like he's struggling a little bit today.
into the container, the 540-degree spin that they've got to go through there. That's like a parking lot, Jen, only a couple of foot more than your average parking lot. It gives them some idea of how precise they are. Already they've gone into the sweeper, and now they go into this 180-degree box. One could say it's like a garage.
Yeah, Tanner was a little slower through there than we saw him in practice. They've got to go 2 times around this 720 barrel. It's double height so they can see it through the smoke, which we'll see as the race progresses today.
But as he comes out of the 720 barrel, it's Tanner Faust who wins the first race of this match against Brian Deegan. That's on the red course. It's perceived that the red course is a little bit quicker than the white course, but we're going to swap sides for our next race. In the meantime, let's see how Tanner Faust got off the line.
The start's tricky here, but it is a tree. It's predictable, and Faust knows there's half a second between the last yellow and the green light, and he hits it just before the light changes green.
Deegan got through the container absolutely perfectly. He was on the white course. Nothing to spare between the front end of that Fiesta. Likewise, Faust's Fiesta, inch perfect underneath the container as he then sped away to the final 720. Those barrels, they could easily be knocked. If they knock them out of that little orange circle, they'll get a 2-second penalty. And you've got to do the 2 circulations of that final 720 barrel run. Okay then, so then it's 1 down to Tanner Faust. Brian Deegan's got to level it with this race for us to go to the 3rd race in this match. We're on the starter's orders. Oh, again, a brilliant reaction from Tanner Faust on the white course as he drifts it into the long left-hander for the first time. It's about a 61-second run around this course. I remind you that they are running drift tyres, so they are quite slippery compared with the normal rallycross Coopers that we see, such as we will tomorrow.
Yeah, these are radial tires, actually street tires, as they go around the figure 8 neck and neck. A little bit harder than what they're used to racing on, and it doesn't give them quite as much grip, so they're learning the new setup here.
And Deegan's getting his eye in as well, isn't he? Ever the competitor, Brian Deegan. There's maybe half a car length in it, maybe to the advantage of Tanner Faust. Literally maybe a car length, I'd say, Jen.
Deegan's got to make this count. He's got to get through this or they don't go to another round. Come on, Brian.
As he comes out of the 180 box, Tanner Faust got a little bit of an advantage, about half a car length. Still is a little bit too much wheel spin maybe from Tanner Faust. Deegan's trying to catch up. He might get the drive out of the 720 barrel as Faust wins the race. And he therefore wins 2 out of 2, and he progresses. Well done to Tanner Faust. Nothing between them. My goodness me, just 0.6 of a second there. That's how close it was. You've got to give it to Brian Deegan. He wasn't here yesterday having the initial practice. He only arrived late last night. Now then, as we see Faust deliberately drifting over that first drift point before he came into the hairpin on the white course. Deegan, I have to say, he impresses me by every single run that he does here this evening.
Absolutely, and they get lane choice based on their seating position. The red course seems to have been just a little bit faster. They practiced more on it, put some more rubber down, and that was Tanner's choice.
So Tanner Faust will be going forwards. Now what they can do now is that they can change tyres before his next match. But that is after our next match that we've got lining up on the start line as I speak. In the meantime, Alyssa's going to catch up with Tanner Faust, the winner.
Yeah, Toby, give him a second to get his helmet up here. Tanner, sure it's nice to get that first one in. What part of the track is the area where you can pick up the most speed?
Well, you know, you spend a lot of time in doing donuts. So I think when you're going around in circles, it's the most risky time because you're grazing the front bumper on the barrels and whatever all those things are out there. But it's also the easiest to push them over. And it's a 2-second penalty if you hit those. So that's where you can make the most and lose the most.
Cool. Thanks, Tanner.
Oh, he's pretty pumped about that. It's been a while since he had a gold medal here at X Games. In the meantime, next match on the line, Liam Doran, a gold medalist from Munich only a month ago, and Ken Block himself. Bit of pressure here for Block.
It's got to be tough for him. Ken Block qualified today 5th, only 5th fastest today, but Liam was very close in the number 4 position, so this is going to be a really equal matchup, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. Ken has a really excellent showy style. Showy's not always fastest, even on this course that he designed.
Ken Block got a 2-litre turbocharged engine underneath his right foot. Liam Doran has got a 1.6 turbocharged engine. He's got less weight. Oh, Ken Block makes a brilliant start on the red course. He leads into the first corner and he drifts over the line. Now this is the part of the course where Liam Doran can make up time. He did that in practice, Jen.
He was great, but he wasn't incredibly consistent, which was a trouble for him, and he had a little bit of extra time to learn the course. He yesterday actually repeated an element twice, as you see them neck and neck through the figure 8 here.
Okay, coming out of the figure 8 into the 540 container. Look at the cameras. We've lined them up specifically so that we can see who's ahead. And by my reckoning, Doran is ahead in the Mini that is only a month old in Rallycross Gymkhana competition spec.
These guys were 0.3 of a second apart in the red course. So we'll see what happens if Ken can get to the to the white course. We'll see what happens, and maybe he can make it up.
Okay, around the 720 barrel, Doran comes out of it, and Doran wins it. The first race of this match, so it's 1 to Doran. Block's got to win this next race, otherwise he is going to go out at the quarter-final stage. There's an upset.
Here we are taking a look at the start, and Ken was just exactly on that green line. As you see, he anticipated just a bit and got the start right on the green. And then here we have Liam Doran in the container, making up all that time on Ken Block.
Yeah, that lighter car is sort of some 85, 90 kilos lighter, and that'll make all the difference around the twisty bits as they go around the 720 barrel. A lot more smoke coming off the rear tyres of Block's Ford Fiesta. You mentioned it earlier, Jen. Flashy is great for the spectators, it's great for TV, but he's not great for the stopwatch.
That smoke represents a whole bunch of wheel spin. Ken's getting as high as 4th gear on this course. Some of the other guys are only seeing 2nd. The wheels are spinning, but they're sliding sideways, so they're not getting grip, and it's not helping Ken's speed.
Okay, so we swap sides for this second race in this match. Doran 1 up at the moment with the Mini. He's keeping cool in that car. They'll be quite thankful that the sun has just disappeared below the horizon here in California. It was scorching earlier, and we're green and we're racing, and Ken Block again gets an advantage as he streaks into the hairpin for the first time. He goes left-handed on the white course as Ken Block goes now around the hairpin. Little bits of overrun, unburnt fuel coming out of the back of that exhaust, flames shooting out, and Doran, this is his part of the circuit, and he's just edging ahead again, Jen.
Done very well in this area here. He's a little bit lighter, and the tires are really hard, so he doesn't have a lot of grip, and that's not hurting Liam as much as it's hurting Ken.
Through the container, Ken's getting an advantage. Block's getting ahead. Doran's got a lot of work to do here. I say that Block is ahead only by about half a car length as they come into the 180 box. Oh yes, this is Block's, I would hazard a guess too. Into the 720 barrel, who is the neatest? There's not a lot between them. I'd say there's 1/4 of a second. Block is inch perfect. I'd say he's ahead. Through the smoke we come, and Ken Block's going to lead across the line, and he levels it out of the white course. Block 1, Doran 1, and now we go to the showdown race in this match. This is what Gymkhana GRID is all about.
Incredible racing. We're going to look at some replays here. Get a look at this. Liam Doran around the figure 8s on the red course. Pretty tidy, driving as straight as he can in the middle part of the 8 and then just slinging it sideways around the turn. Ken Block here around the container, making up some time. Very tidy, trying to hug that bumper to where you can see the XGames logo there as he goes through.
And into the 180 box he went. Wheels spinning all the time, and he just got off the gas. He was pointing in the right direction to shoot down to the 720 barrel. Look at them there. There's nothing that the eye can split them by. Block having smoke pouring off those tires and using 650 horsepower to get the victory over the line. Nothing in it. There you have it. Wow, Jen, that's a car length. That is how close it was. Now then, winner takes all. Who's going to go home? immediately after the quarter-final. Will it be Ken Block? Will it be the British bomb, Liam Doran? I don't know where to put my money, whether or not it's $1 or a pound note.
I don't know. Let's flip that coin and figure it out. These guys are so evenly matched, and interesting to see the windows open here, which you don't see in regular rallycross competition as they start.
Doran's got the drop this time as he leads into the tight left-hander on the white course. Here comes the Brit in the Mini. Less power, but less weight. More power, a little bit more weight though for Ken Block with his Ford Fiesta. In we go to the figure of 8. Ken Block getting it sideways perfectly. Who's ahead? I'd say that the Mini is. Yes, it is, Jen.
I think Ken had a little bit of a bobble at the top of that figure 8. Just wasn't quite as clean going in there. And where it's decided by fractions of a second, you just have to be clean and tidy and precise everywhere. Amazing precision driving.
Okay, Block's got the work to do. The exhaust is glowing red hot on the rear of the Fiesta. A little bit of a tweak from the handbrake there by Liam Doran as they come around into the 180 box. Doran's ahead, is he? Yes, he is. Now then, Block reeled Doran in last time. Oh, he's spinning around the 720 barrel. Block has got the time to make up, but it's going to be Doran that leads across the line, and he knocks out Ken Block. What a turn-up for the books here at X Games Los Angeles. Liam Doran going through from the quarter-final into the semis, and it was down to the Brit to knock out Ken Block. My goodness me, I did not expect that to happen. Mind you, Jen, we got two mighty drivers here. There's nothing to split between them.
What an upset, and this is where I think Block lost it right here. Just a little bit sloppy through the top there. Not quite as precise as what we were able to see from Doran.
Into the 180 box goes Liam Doran. He rotates the rear end of that Mini, and my goodness me, there's nothing that you can really pick that was a problem there. Look at the exhaust firing away. Look at the tyres, smoke pouring off them. Block knows he's got to make up time here. The back end of that Fiesta streaking around that 720 barrel, and indeed our commentary box filling up with blue and white tyre smoke.
I mentioned the open windows earlier, and that's why we see them. They've got to breathe in there, and smoke all gets completely into the cockpit when they get that much smoke. I mean, look at Ken Block just peeling tires onto the course and into the air.
And of course, those tyres after 3 races are getting very, very hot indeed. And that may be a factor as to who has managed the tyres best over the 3 races. They may well be only sort of 61 seconds a throw, but Doran managed it best, Alyssa.
Yeah, Liam, you had some trouble with that box earlier in qualifying, but that seemed to be where you were making up time today.
Yeah, you know, yesterday we were really fast in practice, and today I just tried pushing it a little bit too hard. The fastest way around this course is the shortest and tightest way, you know. I would love to be out here making smoke shows and having fun, but it's nearly not going to win medals, so yeah, earlier on I went too tight and caught my wheel, and actually I think I may have fractured my wrist, but the adrenaline is buzzing me through. I'm going to keep on driving.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Wow, he's potentially fractured his wrist. Now, we saw that, Jen, on the replay from practice, didn't we, where Liam Doran got it wrong whilst going around the container, and you hit the wheel and it kicks the steering wheel in your hand. Now then, Alyssa, what's Ken Block going to say?
Yeah, Ken, obviously we were expecting to see you in another round, but what were you thinking? What was the toughest thing out here of this course?
I've got too much horsepower, believe it or not, and I can't get the wheel speed to slow down to get grip. So I can just see out of the corner of my eye as I'm spinning out there and spinning too much as Liam was kind of taking a lead on me. So I tried my hardest, but sometimes too much horsepower is a problem. But I really enjoyed it. It was great having all these fans come out. And I just got to have a better car setup next time we come out and do this.
Great. Thanks, Ken.
You got a feel for Ken Block. But Liam Doran, with potentially a fractured wrist after a practice incident, that's big news. Tanner Faust and Liam Doran have gone through. Next up, we've got 2 more quarterfinals here at Gymkhana GRID. We've got one Subaru that is part of this Gymkhana grid here out of the 8 cars tonight. And it is David Higgins, the teammate for Bucky Lasik in the Subaru squad. But David is already on the start line, lining up with the Swede, Anton Markland.
This should be a good matchup. I was talking to Anton Markland earlier today, and he said he's just out here to have fun. Never done anything like it except for mooning around in the snowy winter up near his home in the north in Scandinavia.
In Sweden. As they come around the first corner, there's not a lot between them. Anton Markland here in the white Volkswagen Polo, a sister car of which has just won Rally Finland today. The old-fashioned Thousand Lakes, the real Thousand Lakes rally that the World Rally Championship guys all want to win. David Higgins from the Isle of Man, in between the mainland of the UK and Ireland. He knows how to drive a rally car. He's currently leading the American Rally Championship with, a couple of rounds still to go. But Ken Block's making up time and making up points on David Higgins. But here is David. He's got less power under his right foot with the Subaru compared with the Volkswagen Polo of Markland. And it looks like Markland's Polo has got the advantage.
Markland seated number 2, Higgins seated number 7. Markland's definitely got the advantage here. He just has to keep it tidy, not hit anything, and he'll be across the line first.
So then the Swede takes the victory. The number 92 white Polo takes the first race in this match as David Higgins' Subaru comes round back into the pits area. Let's see how Higgins got through the container 540.
And this is Bucky Lasik's old Subaru from last season in Rallycross. It's just a little bit bigger and maybe not quite as much power as Anton Markland.
However, he's got a different differential underneath him, and that'll aid the car to turn. It'll be an advantage for David Higgins on that front, but he hasn't got the power, as you say, compared with that Volkswagen Polo Anton Markland on the white course. It's a snowy scene, isn't it? It's white with white, Jen.
Yes, it is. And Markland's Polo's just a little bit shorter, and it wants to dive into the corners a little bit faster. They're going to line up on the opposite side courses now, with Markland on the red course and Higgins closest to us on the white.
Okay then, so as Anton Markland, he'll be warm in that car. A lot of heat will be soaking through from those engines, the big exhaust, the radiators that they've got in the rear of these cars to keep everything cool. We go green. Brilliant reaction from Higgins. Oh, that might be a winning reaction from David Higgins as he is now on the white course with the Subaru, sliding around the drift corner for the first time, around the hairpin, into the figure of 8. You've got to remember which course you're on, Jen. White one's red one.
And they've spent just a little more time on the red course, which is where we're seeing Anton Markland right now going through the figure 8s. And they practiced on that yesterday, and then they just opened up the white course today. So they're a little more familiar with it, and I'm expecting to see that it might be just a little faster for the guys.
A bit more rubber being put down on the course. There's also a manhole cover, a drain cover just off the start line on the white course. That could make the wheels give a little bit more wheel spin as they accelerate hard with their 650 horsepower, but there's less than that. Oh, Higgins has lost the advantage. Higgins has lost it. He's lost drive. This is going to go to Markland. He's already into the 720 barrel, and it's going to be 2 victories out of 2 races for the Swede Anton Markland. He comes over the line and he progresses to the semi-finals. He joins Faust, Doran, and now it's Markland's going through. A problem for Higgins there. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was transmission, maybe it was engine, who knows? But these cars, they're under massive, massive strain.
You see Higgins coming through this corner here, and everything looks fine, and then it just looks like he went the wrong direction around the figure 8, and then he knew he was not going to be able to complete the course in time, and that was it.
Oh, that's unlucky for Higgins in the 75 Subaru, so he unfortunately is out with the Vermont prepared Subaru. But Markland has progressed as we now look forward to the 4th quarterfinal with Patrick Sandel and Stefan Verdier. a perfect sky over the top of X Games Los Angeles for 2013, the fourth and final Summer X Games for this year. We've been to Foz do Iguaçu in Brazil, we've been to Barcelona in Spain, Munich in Germany, and finally here in Los Angeles. Now this is Anton Markland going forward through his quarter-final, but look at the fluid coming out of the back of that car, and indeed out of the rear door there. It's dripping all over the rear bumper. That certainly looks like oil to me, and that is what the crews have been clearing up on the course, Jen.
Yeah, coolant maybe. As they're working with the rear of the car, there is cooling in the rear of the car, and they think the car is going to run, so he'll be back out for his next round.
Here is the next race that we got coming up. This is the fourth and final of our quarterfinals. It's Patrick Sandel and Stefan Verdier, and this is what happened after they crossed the line in practice and seeding earlier. They were both going for the same bit of tarmac so that they didn't hit the wall of the speedway, and poor old Stefan Verdier prepares his own car. He's worked night and day to get it sorted, and he felt that he was unjustly done by Sandel. Sandel likewise nearly had the rear quarter of that car taken off the Ford Fiesta. Then when they got the cars sorted, look how close this finish was as they came over the line. Nothing to split between them as they came across the line. Look at that, Jen.
Absolute photo finish. They tied to the 10th of a second, and we didn't have times any greater than that, so they were dead heat tied. I cannot wait to see these guys line up as the lights go. And a great start there for Sandel, who is running on the red or on the white course.
I think that it's actually Verdier who's got the advantage as he comes. Oh, there's a problem for Verdier. He was leading as he went into the hairpin for the first time, and that's immediately handed this race to Patrick Sandel.
He had a great start, but he was not initiated into a drift even by the time he hit that line of drift, and he's driven off the course. But here we have Sandel. He still has to complete every element on this course, and his spotters probably told him, hey, your competition's pulled off, you've got this one, but you do have to finish, so take it easy and drive it clean.
He's got to make his way around this second drifting corner, the sweeper. Now he's got to make his way into the 180 box, into the left-hander. Round he goes, don't hit any of the barriers, and finally up to the right-hander. Twice around here, the 720 barrel. In he goes for the second time. I can hear the transmission whir through the onboard microphone as he comes across the line. As you say, Jen, the spotter had told him that Verdier was out. Bad luck indeed for the Frenchman in the original shape Subaru, I like to call it, the 2006 STI. And this is what happened when they left the line. It was a great start by the Frenchman on the right-hand side, but into that first corner, it's as if he lost all his boost.
No, he just hits the brakes there, doesn't even really try and sling it sideways. He knows he doesn't have it, and basically just cruises around and gets off the course here. Big disappointment for Stefan. Hopefully it's something that a screwdriver can fix, because he's here in the pits and he's here on the grid, and there's not much he can do to fix it here with very few tools.
And in fact, as we see Patrick Sandel on his way to victory, a little bit of water coming out of the front of that bumper, but that's all part of the plan. They've got little sprays that cool the intercooler and down to try and keep the turbo temperature down. In the meantime, how sad is it down there with Stefan Verdier?
Well, we'll ask him yourself. What are you thinking? What happened?
My brake handle broke. So unfortunately, at the first corner when I pulled the handbrake came off, and that's what broke during the qualifying earlier. We thought we fixed it, but it broke again. So I can't do any slide. I can't do anything without the handbrake. So unfortunately, I'm out. It's a bummer, but the way it is. So motorsports, tough brakes.
Tough brakes, exactly. Thanks so much. Back to you guys.
Oh, that's real bad luck, Jen. You know, he finished fourth in the Rallycross here at X Games Los Angeles in 2010, and it really is a proper privateer effort.
Yeah, Stefan does a lot of the work on this car himself. He knows this car really well, and in fact, he competed in the first Gymkhana GRID event here at this facility in 2010, and he finished third, so he's a competitive guy. Too bad.
So that now means that Patrick Sandel will progress into the semi-finals here at X Games Los Angeles with the very first Gymkhana GRID. But this is the graphic for the semi-finals and how we have got here. It's going to be Faust versus Doran, Anton Markland versus Patrick Sandell. So this is going to be an interesting scenario. We've got an American versus a Brit, and we've got two Scandinavians, two Swedes battling each other. In the meantime, Doran is on the line with Tanner Faust, but what's the latest from inside that Mini, Alyssa?
Yeah, Toby, I know he mentioned it really quickly in that interview earlier, but when he hit the box in qualifying, he's pretty sure he broke his left hand. He's in a lot of pain, but he said, you know, I asked him about grip strength on that steering wheel, and he said, you know what, it's really funny, when I put the helmet on, all the pain goes away.
Absolutely, I know the feeling. It doesn't matter how hot you are, it doesn't matter how in pain you are with that injured wrist, all of the pain will dissipate as soon as that visor goes down. He's got a cool helmet as well. He's got air rushing over the front of his visor. He'll put it down just to keep extra cool. Now, the reason that he's tweaked his wrist is that he hit that container very hard, and the shock was transmitted up from the steering wheel, from the wheels into the steering wheel, and that's what caught out Liam Doran. Okay, then, the first of our two semi-finals underway. Doran, what a brilliant meteoric start as he goes into the first corner first.
Great start from Doran. You see him across that red line there. They have to be drifting by that line, no problem, but he hit a barrel. That's going to be worth at least a 2-second penalty. See it up there on the board already.
So then, Doran, he's got that penalty. He's going to have to bank on Tanner Faust doing something similar, but I can't see Faust doing that. Is that a problem of his wrist, potentially, Jen?
Perhaps, but he's not thinking about that right now. This is best 2 out of 3, and he's going to do the best he can to put down a fast time here. It ain't over till it's over.
Now, he may well be ahead on the racetrack, but Liam Doran has got an extra, it's 4 seconds. He's had another push of one of the barrels on the exit of the figure of 8, so he's going to be 4 seconds down, added to his time when he crosses the line. And you've got to believe that Tanner Faust will know that from his spotter. Doran wins it on the road, but plus 4 seconds equals a 104.84 compared with Tanner Faust's 102.08.
And when you're thinking about driving, you're thinking about having both hands on the wheel. He's really busy with his right hand on the handbrake and the gear shift, and the left hand on the wheel. So if he's got problems with one of his wrists, it's going to affect him on every corner.
Now, Doran got the best start on the red course on the right-hand side, and then he went into that right-hander and clipped it there. I haven't seen anybody touch any of those barrels on the inside of that corner, and this is the second barrel that he clipped. That's very un-Doran.
Yeah, it's in the middle of these slides. He's trying to feather the wheel a little bit and just maintain the right slip angle, and maybe he just doesn't have the hand strength. Maybe, as Alyssa said, maybe that's affecting him from earlier today. You know, and when he crosses the finish line and lines up, it's in the transition between the heats that you feel the pain. Once the light goes, you feel okay, but I know he's thinking about it right now as he hits the line.
Yeah, well, we saw the live shot when he came across the line. He was giving thumbs up to his team. Is it okay? Is it okay? And then I'm sure they then gave him the bad news that he was plus 4 seconds, and he lost out to Tanner Faust with the number 34 Ford Fiesta. So then it's one race having gone to Tanner Faust against Liam Doran. We go green here at Gymkhana GRID. The first time Gymkhana GRID is part of X Games. Here we are in 2013. And now it's down to Doran to see if he can level this one out. If he wins it, we'll go to a third.
Liam Doran is looking good, though, through the figure eights here. He's been very quick all day, and lots of smoke he's building through the turns there.
Did Faust do that complete figure of 8? I don't think he did, Jen. I think that Faust jumped out of the figure of 8. He got lost, and that now means that all Liam Doran has got to do is complete this on the white course, and the race is his. It's 1 each to Faust. It's going to be 1 each then to Liam Doran, and that now means we've got the showdown. Doran clips one of the barrels, but it doesn't matter.
No, Faust pulled off the course pretty slowly. I'm not sure if that means he hit something. There's Liam going around the barrel looking very tidy, very tight. He has a third shot at this, so he wants to get every inch of practice he can.
Doran happy with that. Is there a problem with Faust's car? That's the next question. Let's have a replay and see if my eyes deceive me and he actually came out of that figure of 8 too early. Here we go. Okay, he comes out of there. He's got to go in and round. He's got to then go to the far barrel with the GoPro on. And he hesitates, and he doesn't. He had to go left around the GoPro barrel, and he knew he was shot.
Yeah, he actually looks like he just drove out of that feature and then headed for the, and then as he hit the container, he realized, I'm going through this backwards. Wow.
Happens even to the best.
Kicking himself there. You know, it's really easy to do. It's easy to get confused on the course, especially as you're switching back and forth between the red course and the white course. Here we see them they're going to line up again, and Faust is on the white course here. That is his choice. He's the higher-seated driver here. He gets course choice, and the white course has proven today to be just a little bit faster since we started competition.
Okay, they'll get the 10-second signal from the Gymkhana GRID marshals. Here we go, under starters' orders. Winner takes all. They're going to go through to the grid final. Who is going to get the advantage into the first corner? I reckon it's Tanner Faust on the white course against the black Mini of Liam Doran on the red course. But now we come into Mini territory. This is where we have seen Doran make up time.
You know, Tanner's focusing on getting this element right now, for sure. But Tanner Faust, two-time Formula Drift champion and a stunt driver. He is no stranger to getting those stunts just perfect, and it looks like they're neck and neck.
Into the container, the 540. The mirror image from the camera that our guys have set up underneath there, absolutely perfectly mirror imaging the Mini and the Ford Fiesta. Who's going to go through to the final? I can't split them as they come into the 180 box. Oh, maybe Faust is just ahead. Oh, Doran completely clatters the wall of the 180 box, so he's going to be plus 2 seconds as they come around the 720 for the final time. On the road, Doran is actually going to win it, but he's going to be plus 2 seconds, and Tanner Faust is going to take the victory. Yes. Plus 4, in fact, plus 4 for Doran. He's given a 4-second penalty. That's a brave effort from Doran with a potentially broken wrist. Who knows? He's given it a massive tweak, but Faust has progressed to the final.
And Doran in the course there just went a bit wide on what you're calling the garage feature, the 180 box. He goes a bit wide. He clips both the barrel and the barricade here for a 4-second penalty. Big disappointment for him. But it's not over for him yet.
Very, very true. Getting ahead of herself. He's going to have a chance for the bronze medal, will Liam Doran. But Tanner Faust kept his cool after losing his way around this Gymkhana GRID course on the second race of 3. But it was Faust who won the 2 races out of 3 to progress to the final.
And Faust really excels here. You can see he tries to keep the wheel speed low, maximize grip, and just be very tidy around this barrel. That's what you're looking to see.
Melissa, you've got Liam. How's he feeling?
Yeah, Liam, I know you said you don't feel the pain when you're in the car, but how much was that left wrist affecting you?
I started hitting stuff, so obviously I lost some control, you know. It's really, really hurting, but, you know, when you want to win an event this bad, you slide your helmet on and the pain goes away, and all you want to do is win a gold medal. So I'm really, really frustrated. You don't even understand, because I think I beat Tanner on all 3 runs and just threw outright pace, and to go out because I hit something, you know, slight little mistake, it's so frustrating. You know, I really think I could have won this event, but maybe the best man wins, maybe not.
All right, and we'll see you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we've got to try and make up tomorrow now.
Thanks so much, Liam.
I think he's going to be sticking that wrist in an ice bucket overnight to make sure that he's going to be okay for the rallycross tomorrow afternoon here at X Games Los Angeles. Now, this is a smokescreen. It is not a James Bond film. He is not driving the Aston Martin. He hasn't got an ejector seat, but there is a lot of oil going onto the exhaust of Anton Markland's Volkswagen Polo. Let's hope, Jen, that it's burning off and it won't be left on the racetrack.
Yeah, that's not a good sign when it's white smoke like that. Could be a head gasket. We've seen that. That could be coolant. I'm guessing it's coolant because it is such a steamy color. I wish I could smell it down there and I could tell you. But yes, they say his car is going to run. Hopefully it'll make it through this 1-minute run, which is all it has to last for to get an advantage. So he's going to run about 3 minutes. These runs take about 1 minute each. It's a best 2 out of 3. If he wins 2, it has to make it for 2 minutes of competition. Otherwise, it goes to a third.
I know, Jen, you want that Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Rally car. I reckon that you'll be craving so much. Now, this is what happened in the quarterfinal with Markland's car, and there's a lot of oil coming out of the back of that car. It wasn't water, it was oil, and you know the radiators are in the back of that car, and it's getting worse, isn't it? And I think they might have to pull him out, because if he puts oil down on this racetrack, then we've not only lost the chance for this semi-final to be completed, but of course the final between Tanner Faust and who? And it looks like Anton Markland, he's popping his belts, he's getting out of the car. I reckon that car's been pulled, Alyssa.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. The last update I just got was they were still discussing it, but even earlier when I was trying to get some information out of their crew chief, they were being really cagey, as you would say, Toby, and so they wanted to get out here to the start line at least, but it looks like GRC has pulled his car.
Well,
mechanical issue.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in the DNA of a rally car driver, of a race car driver, to get the car to the line, particularly a rally driver, as you know, Jen. I always said when I was a mechanic many moons ago, if it's got 4 wheels and it moves forward, you're in the race. But unfortunately, it's not quite as simple here on a tarmac course.
Yeah, that's so disappointing. If I had to guess, that's a head gasket, and that engine, they actually just saved him from blowing up his engine. So
we'll look forward to seeing him tomorrow. So then, Faust is in the final. We now look forward to more Gymkhana GRID here at X Games Los Angeles. Welcome back here to X Games Los Angeles. We're looking forward to our gold medal match between Tanner Faust and the Swede, Patrick Sandell. The land of the midnight sun is where Sandell comes from. He's looking to get a gold medal. We've had Swedes win gold before. What can he do tonight? But also we got people pulling for Tanner Faust. Benji Farrow saying, watching X Games Los Angeles and pulling for my Top Gear America buddy at Tanner Faust. In the meantime, Alyssa managed to catch up with Tanner Faust on how he gets around this race course.
Yeah, Toby, so earlier today we were talking about how important course memorization was, and he said, remember that year when we had the course at the Coliseum and everyone was getting lost? He said, that could happen here if you're not really focused. And then, of course, he says, I'm the guy who gets lost on the course, so I would look for him to go on this white course first and just pay attention to how important course memorization is for all these drivers.
Yeah, it's left hand, right hand, left hand. It depends which course you go for, and you're exactly right, Alyssa. Tanner Faust in the yellow and black Rockstar Ford has gone for the white course. That's the predominantly left-handed. I would like to sort of look at it that way. Ironically, that's the course where these guys have done least practice.
It is, but it's turning out to be just a little bit faster, so you're going to favor that. If you have lane choice, your highest seed gets the lane choice. If you have lane choice, you're going to take that course first. Then you got to do the other one. Then you'll come back here if you have to, but you hope you don't have to.
These guys lining up here for the final to decide over 3 races who will get to 2 victories first. We've got Patrick Sandell in the white car, Tanner Faust with the black and yellow car. Faust has made a brilliant, epic start. He takes a couple of bites at the cherry to tip it into the first corner, and I think that Sandell has managed to make up a little bit of time, but I reckon Faust leads.
Amazing. I think that was the fastest we've seen Faust go into that first corner. They have to keep it tidy here, though. That's really important. When the pressure's on and the clock is running, it's hard to do these elements perfectly, and a little mistake here is a big cost. So we're going to see Tanner be as precise as he can, using all of the stunt driving ability and Formula Drift ability that he's got here and shown to try and get out ahead.
Okay, well, his spotter might just be giving him a word in his ear saying, you're up, you don't need to risk it too much, you don't need to lean on the car that much. But Sandell, I was watching him in practice, he has been uber neat and uber tidy.
But Tanner is just flying. He's a whole element ahead of Sandell on this course right now. He's one whole donut around that barrel ahead of Sandell. He just has to come out of it and cross the line clean. Amazing performance from Tanner Faust.
He takes the first victory out of 3 races in this final as they are gunning for gold here at X Games Los Angeles. The first ever Gymkhana GRID. We've seen it all on the YouTube, we've seen it all over the internet, but now we are racing head to head. Brilliant start by Faust.
Amazing start, and he's full on the throttle here. You see he goes way deep into the corner and then slings it the fastest we've seen him go through that corner all day. Very tidy here through the container. Watch him come around, just plant the nose of the car a few inches off the edge of the container and just slide it through. Very precise driving, and then into the 720. This is my favorite feature on the course. They get a little closer to it on the second revolution as they lose momentum. Amazing. He just plants that wheel, and he's a couple seconds. He was a whole horse element ahead going into that 180 box. He was already ahead of Sandell by a whole horse element. Tough to make that up when these things are decided by a tenth of a second.
Absolutely on the money, but now the tables have been turned. He's got to go the other way. So Patrick Sandell, the Swede, the 31-year-old from Östersund in the snowy north, has now got the white course to tackle. Sandell already had a bronze medal. That was at Foz do Iguaçu, the first X Games that we had in Brazil. That was back in April. Sandell on the right-hand side. Tanner Faust on the left-hand side. Brilliant start this time again for Tanner Faust. Sandell has to win this race to level it and have a chance of gold.
Another great start by Tanner Faust. They're neck and neck really as they go into this element here, heading toward the figure eight. It's just about being precise and being tidy. I think Sandell has a little bit of an edge.
Absolutely, Jen. He's got a bit more pitch on that car. He's got a lot more suspension movement. That might be working wonders for him. Sandell through the container 540. Who's ahead? I'd say that it's Faust.
These cars are virtually identical. These guys are teammates. They run the Fiesta STs in both Rallycross and Gymkhana GRID today. And Faust, I think, does have the edge. He's very familiar with this type of driving. He's good at it.
As he goes through the 180 box into the final 720 barrel, it is for Tanner Faust. He starts his second revolution, and Tanner Faust is going to take the gold medal. Gymkhana GRID goes to Tanner Faust here at X Games Los Angeles for 2013. Silver goes to Patrick Sandell. They celebrate donutting in front of the crowd here in Irwindale. That is as close as it can get. Faust takes gold.
Amazing driving for Tanner Faust. That brings his tally to 8 medals and his first gold since 2010. He's only one of 2 drivers to have competed in every X Games rally car racing event since 2006 when it was introduced, and it's nice to see us going out of LA here with another gold for Tanner Faust.
He's been so close to medals at the top step of the podium. This year with Foz do Iguaçu, we didn't have the races in Barcelona, but we had 2 rallycross runs in Munich. And now he finally gets onto the top, back onto the top step of the podium. What a great result for Tanner Faust. That is why he is the reigning global rallycross championship.
Here we go, Tanner Faust across the finish line, but he isn't done spinning around yet. Watch him spin over the finish line, second gear, and all that smoke pouring right into the cockpit of the car.
Oh, that's epic celebrations. But let's analyze how he did through the 180 box on that second race of 3. Absolutely perfect. Less is more here.
Great precision driving, very tight around the barrels in the 720 here. This is Tanner Faust's forte. As I say, he won the very first Gymkhana GRID event here at this venue in 2010, more of a grassroots event than this one here at X Games, and here he is back on the top of the podium.
So the 40-year-old has beaten the 31-year-old, but fair play to Patrick Sandell to push Tanner Faust right to the last for that gold medal. Let's hear what Faust has got to say down there. He's back on winning form.
All right, Tanner, congratulations. First Gymkhana gold medal at X Games. We'll forget about course memorization for now. How important is it just to stay clean and tidy out there, not hit anything?
You know, it's surprisingly...
well done.
It's surprisingly technical. You know, you have to try not to stall. That's essentially it. There's a lot of clutch slipping to keep the turbo boosted. I think the drifting kind of experience that I have right here in the House of Drift, Irwindale, you know, it definitely pays off, you know, to be able to kind of play around with the clutch a bit. But I mean, Ford Fiesta ST rocks it again. It's so awesome.
So defending GRC champion, but you've struggled a bit this year. How much confidence does it give you going in tomorrow to get another gold medal, get a win under your belt this season?
Like I said, I think it's more therapeutic than anything else, and I'd rather be lucky than good. A lot of times against Liam, I was very lucky. Had a little bit of a brain fade there, but it was, it's an awesome event and it's a lot of fun. It's nice to come back with a clean car tomorrow. That may not happen. So I'm just going to sleep hard, maybe celebrate a little bit, and come back and race tomorrow.
Great. Congratulations. Thanks so much, Tanner.
Thank you.
Tanner Faust last won an X Games gold medal back in 2010, but he won 2 that year. Is this a bit of an omen for tomorrow when we've got the Rallycross taking place here at X Games Los Angeles? That now means that Tanner Faust has taken 4 X Games gold medals, and for Patrick Sandell, that's his 2nd X Games medal after he got bronze in Foz de Guasu. An American dominating this Gymkhana grid, the very first Gymkhana grid, and I'm sure the first of many.